Nobody cares. Work harder anyway. Cameron Hanes has said that exact line for years. Nobody cares. Work harder. And it's not bitterness. It's the whole morning, compressed to 4 words. No one is watching this hour. That's not the excuse. That's the point. Here's the deal you keep trying to negotiate. Some version of you wants credit before the work is done. A witness. Someone to notice the alarm went off and you got up anyway. Nobody's coming to notice. Tim Grover spent decades in the room with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, and what he wrote about the ones who actually finish is blunt. Being relentless means demanding more of yourself than anyone else could ever demand of you, knowing that every time you stop, you can still do more. You must do more. Nobody hands you that demand. You generate it alone before the house wakes up. Grover has a name for the excuse you're reaching for right now, waiting on someone else to make the morning make sense. Tell yourself what to do, he said, and stop waiting for others to lay it all out. Nobody's going to walk in and hand you the itinerary for this hour. You write it or you don't move. Hanes puts a price tag on skipping it. His standard, laid out in Endure, comes down to a trade you make every morning whether you notice or not. Endure the pain of discipline or suffer the pain of regret. There's no third option where you dodge both. The hour you don't work is not neutral, it's regret, purchased in advance, waiting for you later at a worse price. And Henry Rollins named the reason none of this can be faked. In his essay The Iron, he wrote that the iron never lies to you. You can walk outside and hear all kinds of talk, get told you're a god or a total bastard, but the iron will always give you the real deal. Swap the iron for this hour and nothing changes. The work doesn't flatter you. It doesn't punish you either. It just tells you exactly what you did and didn't do. Put the 3 next to each other and the standard stops being complicated. The work has to hold up with nobody in the room to confirm it happened. Grover's cleaner archetype makes that explicit. Cleaners have a dark side and a zone you can't enter. They get what they want, but they pay for it in solitude. Excellence is lonely, in his own words. Not lonely as a side effect. Lonely as the entry fee. If your discipline needs an audience to survive, it was never discipline. It was performance waiting for applause that isn't coming. Hanes doesn't soften that either. You can't just have a work ethic, he said, you have to earn it. Discipline and excellence aren't something you can just think about and achieve. Thinking about the hour doesn't count. Wanting credit for thinking about it counts even less. And Rollins closes the loop on why the standard has to be this cold. Friends may come and go, he wrote, but 200 pounds is always 200 pounds. Nobody's opinion changes the weight. Nobody's absence changes it either. The standard doesn't move because the room is empty. He went further than that, and it's the line that explains why men like Grover and Hanes keep choosing the empty room on purpose. He called the iron his greatest friend. Not a metaphor for punishment. A description of the one relationship in his life that never once lied to flatter him and never once abandoned him when it was inconvenient. That's what an honest standard becomes eventually, not a threat, a friend you can trust precisely because it refuses to lie. None of the 3 are describing talent. Grover didn't build a champion's mentality by finding someone gifted. He built it by demanding more after the gift stopped being enough. Hanes wasn't born an ultramarathoner. He built it hammer by hammer, unwitnessed, for decades before anyone was counting. Rollins found his greatest friend not in a person but in the iron, because the iron was the only thing in the room that never lied to him and never left. The standard holds up alone, or it isn't a standard. It's a mood, and moods don't survive an empty room. Today you will do the work you'd normally save for when someone's watching, and you will do it now with no one watching because that's the only version that counts. Today you will decide, commit, act, Grover's whole blueprint in 3 verbs, instead of waiting for motivation to show up and give you permission. Today you will treat this hour the way Rollins treated the iron. Not as a threat to survive, but as the one honest thing in your day that will tell you the truth whether you want to hear it or not. Nobody's grading the 4 a.m. hour. Nobody's clocking whether you kept hammering when it would have been easier to stop. That's not a loophole. That's the test. The work that only counts when it's seen was never work you owned. It was work you were renting from an audience. Tonight, someone runs a different audit, the ledger that doesn't care what you meant to do, only what you did. But that's tonight's account. This hour, the one nobody's watching, is yours to spend or waste right now. Win before they wake.